Something. Good morning and welcome everybody. Welcome to Djuma Game Reserve this morning. My name is Mark and I have Brian on camera with me. We've been following leopard tracks all the way from Djuma Waterhole or Gowrie Dam, and I've come across some hyenas that are eating something. I can see something was killed here last night. Got a big blood stain on the ground next to me. I don't know if these hyenas are going to let us get in. I'm guessing that maybe the leopard was coming back to a kill and I think the hyena have stolen it. Which means that he might still be here somewhere. Hard to maneuver here. There's a piece of shoulder blade or something. Looks quite big, whatever it was actually. Maybe adult. Impala. A bit big for that. Quite a fresh shoulder blade. And I can see the other hyena. If we can just try to go forward, might be able to see over this bush willow. I can see the remains of quite a large carcass that the hyena's got. Just trying to squeeze through past this. 3 hyenas. So I'm sure that leopard is here somewhere. We might be able to see him at some point. He was evidently at the waterhole about half an hour ago, just over half an hour ago. Managed to follow his tracks, lost his tracks on the road as I saw hyena just before we started live. Tracks coming. Takes in. To go to channel. An interesting thing, considering we haven't seen hyena for a while, we're not too sure where their den is nowadays. And of course, them being here doesn't really mean anything. Doesn't necessarily mean that their den is close by. They are quite vigilant. I'm pretty sure that cat is here somewhere. Bas might have said that already. I think I'm just mostly convincing myself. Little grey overcast day this morning. Makes a change from some of the heat that we've had recently. Welcome to Wild Earth, welcome to Djuma Game Reserve, and welcome to our wild little piece of Africa where life and death has played itself out in the last couple of hours. That is quite a large carcass now. I'm looking at it. Could be kudu, the shoulder or nyala, the weight of that hyena. You know, very often people ask about this odd shape of hyena, the very large front and much smaller back legs. And that's one of the things about hyena, is their ability to just pick up a carcass and move with it. We're going to try and follow her. Little one's taking a shoulder blade. Sorry guys. The shoulder blade that I saw was a little bit big for Impala. Try and go flat on this side. Right, best to leave it right, do its thing. But yeah, I know. Not often that we have to do that. Because now they're gone, long gone. Yeah, I see them disappearing. Not going to be able to get much further than this. Pity. Try and go around maybe. Jackson, come in. We are not going to get in there. Try and get back to where they were, see if we can see them. Since they're gone, hyena, the leopard might come back sniffing around. Quite a large kill for a leopard actually. Kudu or large nyala. It was hard to see. There was a little bit of skin left on that carcass. But I guess being wet could have been kudu, but appeared a little darker being a bit wet. Morning, Texan. No, fine, thanks. Ingwe and Konzo from the dam heading east up Central. I'm on Central. I just found some misi with a Nongo carcass, so I'm just trying to find. They took it down into the drainage line, trying to find it there now. No, they took it quite deep in. I couldn't follow them. I'm back on the road now trying to find the Konzo. That Ingwe was at the dam at about 20 past 5. No, negative. Well, Nkonzo came through Giraffe dip heading east, but then I lost his Nkonzo because I found Misi with that Nongo. Yeah, for him. Okay, copied. I'm thinking maybe this Ingwe is also around here where this Nongo was. And you say you found it feeler? Okay, thanks, Texan. Interesting information from Texan. That he found this kudu. It was a female kudu, actually. Okay, copied. Yeah, there were 3 misi there. Then they still got a lot of the carcass. Texan and his guests found it yesterday afternoon, evidently. A kudu cow that had died. Evidently no signs of a struggle, no signs of predation. And he seems to think maybe she died giving birth or something. Interesting. Of course, it doesn't help me finding her. I'm thinking that he must have come this way smelling something. Texan is going to come past, he'll come behind me and hopefully they can find where I left the tracks. But we'll cut through now onto Vulture's Nest in case something's coming through onto this road from where we left those hyena. We could also probably try in the drainage line in the Milwaukee. So we've got Pete Bright in final control this morning and a new crew member that has joined us, Andrew. You know who was zooming earlier when we crossed the dam wall. We crossed the dam just before we started on drive. You might have seen an extra body on the back. Andrew, I'm sure you'll meet him. Can say hello.
Hello.
Has the thumb said hello?
The thumb made a sneaky appearance.
A sneaky appearance. Young, my daughter. Well, the Djuma flew, of course. Left a nest. This is a road called Vulture's Nest. We used to have a vulture's nest on it, and I actually haven't seen it. Normally they don't, unless something happened to the jackalberry that it was in. We used to be able to see it from about this bend onwards. There's a white-backed vulture's nest. Could have been on top of that jackalberry. Morning, Carol Ann. Looked like a steppe buzzard. Carol Ann was asking if there are any sable antelope here in the Sabi Sands, and having seen them in Kruger, very rare in Kruger, Carol Ann. If you've seen them in Kruger, you're very, very lucky to have seen them. They're not a very common antelope anymore. That was the vulture's nest. There was a jackalberry. There used to be a vulture's nest up there. I'm not seeing anything now. And Caroline, I promise you, if there was a sable antelope in the Sabi Sand, I would find it for you. But unfortunately, we're not likely to see one here. They have a preference for grassland. They are not fond of this dense vegetation that we have here. There isn't really an animal that we won't show you if we see it. So you can be sure that if we see an animal, it will be on camera. Sable are one of those species of animals that is on a natural decline, and it has to some extent been persecuted, I guess, for want of a better word. There are stories in the past of herds and herds of sable, that early farmers used to shoot sable just to feed their workers, use as a sable as ration animals, as meat for staff, because there were so many of them. And I suppose it's like everything else that we've over utilized. Suddenly the numbers drop. I'm going to do another roundabout back up to Central Road. Although maybe I should do it another way. Let's do it another way. A better way. I think sable are being forced out by impala. Forced out, what I mean by that is when an animal occupies a particular niche in nature and it is successful within that niche, whatever it may be, it has a pretty good stronghold within the ecosystem because it's performing the function that benefits the ecosystem. Sometimes they can do the same thing or fulfill that niche in a more productive manner, or just easier, breed better. The right for most predators don't. They don't eat much sable, so they fulfill the function of being a consumer, sort of primary consumer, being a vegetarian, being a grazer, browser. But it also fulfills the function of being a prey animal. Maybe better than sable have. So sable have actually been on a decline before hunting and humans started taking them out. There was a cousin of the sable that used to exist down in the Cape. Hello fleas. Guinea fowl. Yeah, Hamakub just landed at that mudwalla. It's like they're frogging because it's drying up, so it's probably easier to catch frogs. Or other things. Maybe we can go around there. But I do want to get up to Central Road again. And up to the east, just because the leopard was walking and he might have been waylaid by the smell of a dead animal and the hyenas, but I think he might just carry on. Let's see if we could maybe Bachelier Road. Or even better. We could try the drainage line. Let's head up the drainage line for now. There was a cousin, that's what I was saying, cousin of the sable in the Rhone called the bluebuck down in the Cape. And before settlers came to that part of South Africa, the antelope was already dropping steadily in numbers for whatever reason. And I suppose there have been natural extinctions over millennia. And maybe the sable is just one of those. Although there are vast sable breeding projects, and now the sable that are left, especially captive bred sable, are worth millions. Big business. One sable bull can go for 20-30 million. That's our currency, so call it 2-3 million US. Alive, of course, not dead. Breeding stock. But the understanding of genetics, or the better understanding of genetics now, being able to map the genomes, being able to pick and choose genes, in fact, they've been able to bring back very large sable by crossbreeding with sable from other countries. about as far as we're going to go. And we still need to get a lot further to find hyena or leopard. There's a flower. What's quite interesting about this is it's been quite heavily browsed, and I can actually smell it because it has been something I think a lot of people know because it's all over the world. It's spreading. It's called lantana. It comes from South America, and it is not a very palatable plant. In fact, it causes problems in some animals. Let's see how we're going to turn around here. Reverse into a lantana. Morning, gardenia. Not fruits, not gardenia. Flowers on the gardenia would have to come in early summer, mid spring, early summer. First rains bring the flowers on the gardenias. Taxi coming. Batelier. Guess where Kunyuma is? Yeah, copy that, thanks. I'll come back down central. I guess timing is everything, but good news, everybody. Our friend Kunyuma is at that site where the kudu carcass is. I figured he'd probably pitch up there. His tracks were heading there, and he probably kept a low profile while the hyena were there. And well, good that we can go and find him now. I hope. As you saw, pretty long grasses and quite thick bush. Morning, Franklin family. Mum, Dad and chicks. Interesting bird calling last night. I don't know if it's been heard before. Those of you who might have our camera on while we're asleep, is the fiery neck nightjar started calling for the first time. Well, I heard it for the first time last night. Might have been calling for a while before. But of course last night was the first night we slept over a Djuma, so we could hear a lot of sounds that you might all hear at night now. Heard the hippo during the night. Fiery neck nightjar normally sort of a winter bird. We hear it. Normally hear them in the colder months. Cool overcast skies, great weather for predators, by the way. They tend to be a little bit more active. We're going to lose them. Quite far away from him, and he's moving south. Not quite. I mean, if we think of where we were, the hyenas moved more to the west, so he's moving south away from the hyena too, and that'll bring him out probably on Vulture's nest, almost there where that carrier hawk nest is. Clearly not used very much anymore, this road. Bateleur Road used to be a much broader, well, less grass. It used to be quite well travelled. I think on account of it being a little bit bumpy. Okay, copy, thanks. Evidently not Kunyuma, but quarantine. Sharks. Texan, did you leave anybody at that sighting? Okay, copy, thanks. I suppose also to welcome you all to the first of the extended drives. It's going to be a new crew, going to be new faces, but we're hoping to find some characters from the past. One of them coming up now. You let us know if you're a new viewer. Let us know where you're from, what you're up to. Questions at WildEarthTV, or tweet us at #SafariLive. Be nice to hear from you. Part of the whole thing, part of the whole show, no, not show, part of the interesting thing about the drives is the fact that we can talk to each other. And Pete in final control in our control room will send through things, and I can try and answer questions to the best of my ability and knowledge. I often have a whole box of books with me to try and find things if I don't know answers. Nothing to beat books, even though probably we'll be able to get Google out here. Who's the biggest enemy of hyena? Do any animals hunt hyena for food? It's a question from Scott and Dana from the US. Nothing really hunts hyena for food, although hyena do have enemies, all the other large predators, and given the opportunity, lion will kill hyena in a confrontation. Of course, it's not always the case. Sometimes hyena get the better of lion. And I have no doubt that even leopard and cheetah, if they came across hyena cubs, might kill them. But I don't think that there's much that it's hyena. I've seen dead hyena, other than maybe hyena themselves. But I guess there might have been cases the lion was fed on hyena that they've killed. But there isn't. They're not a prey item. They're killed not because they're prey or because they're food. They're killed because they're competition. Because they live within the same territories. They're hunting the same food. They're scavenging from each other. Because of all of that you will find that an ancient feud exists between the two, and it's not a hard and fast rule. It doesn't mean that every single hyena or every single lion is going to behave in the same way. There have been times when you've had lion and hyena feeding on the same carcass, almost being amicable toward each other. Hear from him again? Thank you. So we need to see if we can find this little boy, this little cat. Right where we left him, or where we left the carcass only minutes ago. Let's see, maybe we can get him from that angle. Just behind that little acacia, he's found something to chew on. And we're just going to stop here for a second. It is long grass, and At the moment, trying to get closer, might just push him. He might be chewing on that shoulder blade that I saw lying here. Hi, Minjan. Sounds like some Wild Earth viewers on Ephraim's vehicle, waving through the trees. We can try, let's see, coming around there. Try and get a better position now that he's used to us being here. It's not going to be any better. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah.
A bit better.
Yeah.
I still haven't been able to confirm that it is young quarantine male. I'll leave that up to viewers. You're just seeing the top of his head at the moment. Now I wonder if it wasn't possible that maybe he found the carcass earlier, fed on it during the night, and then went to the dam for some water, and while he was away the hyenas found it this morning. Your first leopard, or?
Sobe Sands, yeah.
Okay. First day, first leopard.
First hyena killed as well. Hyena thinking there.
This is a young male leopard, everybody, that has an interesting family tree. He is one of two young males who are now just over 2 years old. 2 years and a couple of months. The sons of a very famous leopard by the name of Karula, who is also known as the Queen of Djuma, since this has been her territory for the last 10 years. She pretty much took over from her mother, who was a leopard by the name of Safari. Beautiful old girl, who was at least I think 17 or 18 when she passed, when she died. But Karula had 4 litters. This is the 4th. Her 5th litter sadly killed by hyena last month. Well, no, actually 2 months. It was in December. So the last surviving, one of the last 2 surviving, no, I suppose all of them are. She might have only lost one, and that was a little female by the name of Shivinzi. Nobody knows what happened to her, as far as I know. Her brother Shivambalana is a leopard that seems to be much further to the east, up near Cheetah Plains and Nkoro. I saw him last year sometime up on Cheetah Plains. He's finished that bone. He's been eating something. He's got quite a tummy on him. My guess is that he might have been feeding on this kudu during the night. Wondering what he looked like when he came to the dam to drink water. Not overly full, but he's got more than just the little bit of meat that I saw on that shoulder blade. Why don't you climb the marula tree and look from the marula tree? Cat. Walking right up to Ephraim's car. Looks like he's heading back towards the road. Morning, morning. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you. Sounds like your viewers.
Yeah. We saw you the last time, one of the last drives with Serena.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that's right.
Brian.
Hi there.
Good morning.
Andrew.
Andrew.
You member.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to lose him.
No. Yeah, yeah.
Oh. You're right.
Yeah.
Did it hit you?
Very far, but it's okay.
Sorry, dude. Didn't know it was gonna do that. This looks like where the whole thing happened actually. There was a spot of blood. Sorry boy. Yeah. A few pieces of bone and a few things still here. Little bits of... Oh, you can see a very dark patch just above him. That must be where the kudu died. One of the spots that I saw must have been where maybe the hyenas had dragged it and pieces of it had been separated. I need to just move because they're in the way of Ephraim. Okay. There's a natural tendency to cover things up. Looked like maybe that was the stomach contents or something. Yeah, there was some intestines that he was trying to cover up. Something else there that he's working on. Why? I can't tell you. Only he knows why. Maybe it's just... You see, normally a leopard does things like that to cover up their own kills, so that they can't be seen from the air or to try and disguise the scent. There's no real need to do that here because there isn't really anything left to worry about. But maybe it just is this little natural tendency of a cat to do that to smelly things, or oof, quite too strong. Very strong scent. Could be this kudu was dead for more than a day already. Okay, going back to the road. Let's do the same. Almost taking the same line that the hyena took this morning. Let's see if I can stay with him. I could probably squeeze through here. No thorns. Trying to scent where they maybe have taken the rest of that carcass. Despite the fact that hyena do pretty much chew up bone, I doubt whether they would go so far as to separate all of those vertebrae. There was most of the entire vertebral column that hyena picked up. 2 shoulder blades have been taken off, but it was probably from the cervical all the way down through to the caudal vertebra and some of the ribs. And my guess is that they've been feeding for quite a bit, so it could be that there might be a piece left over somewhere down here, if of course it doesn't get too thick for me. But so far not too bad. Yes, this is where we got to with the hyena. It's almost exactly the same place. An old shoulder blade here, but that's from a kill from years and years ago. redwood. This is going to be the awkward one because this is knobthorn. He's still in front of us. Sorry, did I do something wrong? Where you glare at me, Mr. Leopard? There's no way through here at all. That might be the last of them. Here's going into the drainage line. We might be lucky enough to get down into the drainage line and have a look. We are now officially losing sight of him. There's no way through at all. The only thing we can do is go back the same way we came. I've lost this ingwe now. Thanks to Ellen and a few of the other viewers saying that it looks more like quarantine rather than Kunyuma. I'm not sure. Even though I had a good look at him, I'm still learning the two boys. Even after being here for 2 months, I'm still not that sure myself of who's who in that zoo. So I'll do rely on you, the viewers, more than you know, for a leopard ID. But nice to get a good view of him. Franklins are making a noise. Maybe he'd double back. I'm going to try and get into the drainage line here. This is below the dam. We might be able to follow the drainage line a little bit further to the south where he's hopefully coming into it. Where there's a confluence of the two. Around here first. No luck yet. We're not going to get anywhere through here either. Yeah, oxpeckers, which means there's probably buffalo somewhere in here. And I think there's a bush buck. See if we can just get back to the riverbed and then find our way back out of the river. Oh. Normally birds' eggs that are on the ground are particularly coloured, so it's definitely not a bird nest on the ground. Quite smaller than a francolin at least. None of the ground nesting birds do have white eggs. It's just not practical to have white eggs. It's just not practical to have a white egg. There's a nice big Nyala bull. Hello Nyala. You seen a cat today? Guess it's this way. I think while I'm here I'm just going to take my jersey off. How you guys doing? Alright?
Very well, thank you.
I'm not really hearing anything alarming, so I don't know. I guess he's probably not much seeing him going through thick bush. Nice if he just appeared on the top of the bank. Tires get hurt. Don't even know if we're going to get to the road from here. This is a guess. This is not an area where we have ventured in the vehicles before. And although we're not very far from any of the roads, Twin Dams in particular, which is just here, it's a matter of trying to find our way out of here. Maybe up through that little, not a quarry up there. Welcome to Djuma. might be a bit too vertical. Bank has eroded a lot. We had an impala that was on that little patch lying there for a couple of days. We're wondering if any of the predators were going to get to it. And this is also where the bank has eroded too much, but maybe you getting there. Copy, thanks. Or we can just take it. Maybe better to get out. Okay, I'm coming out of the riverbed now, should be better. Well, the twin dams isn't that great normally. Anything yet? Welcome back, everyone. Out on Twin Dams Road. And, well, I was hoping we would find him again. Certainly won our way through the drainage line well enough. Probably following very much the same path that he might have been following, just on the other side of the drainage line, on the other side of the riverbed. We can just drive around. Maybe he'll pop out on one of the roads. Seems to be getting a little bit grayer, a little bit darker. There's a bushbuck on the other side of the dam. If anybody's zooming, watch these wildebeest. Don't want to be in front of them. There we go. A little bit of a game going on here now. Wildebeest chasing a young impala ram, but it's only the calves having a game with a little impala. Where are the rest of your boys there, little impala? Another young impala ram. They can hardly see each other over the zinnias. The wildebeest having a game. I don't think the impala think it's a game, but the wildebeest, the calves seem to think so. And there's a fairly new calf. I wonder where that one came from. That's very new calf. They're quite cautious. I wonder if it could be lingering smell of predator, maybe. Water, rather the wind is coming from the water, coming up from that side, and they're quite hesitant. They've seen something. I saw a bushbuck on the other side of the dam, and there are no alarm calls from there. There's a heron standing at the water, but for some reason the wildebeest are troubled. And I think these three young impala rams who are on their own, they should be with a bachelor herd about now. They're youngsters. And I think the wildebeest are making sure that the young impala rams are close by, because they're going to get taken first if there is anything. There was a foreign goose here that's just been chased off by one of the adults of the resident geese. Now there's something unusual about the way these wildebeest are behaving. They're starting to make their way now down towards the water. The wind has changed a little bit, more coming now from the south rather than the southeast. When it was coming from the southeast, it was sort of blowing in from that area where the leopard hyena were. Whether it was bringing scent of the carcass or the predators, not really sure. Seems they're a lot more relaxed now. Now they're heading to the water. But the other thing is the impala have made their way down to the water, and I suppose I might have been joking when I said the wildebeest will use the impala, but it was also serious, because wildebeest are like that. They will follow other animals. They'd rather let other animals be the guinea pigs, as it were. I mean, when it comes to the big migration down on the Mara River, they wait for the zebra to go first. Only once the zebras start making their way down to the river will the wildebeests go down. 6 goslings and the geese. After chasing off a stray goose, mother goose come back to the goslings. Sorry, heron. Quick drink and back to the grassland, back to grazing. It was nice to see that, actually. We don't get to see that too often on drive. And speaking of driving, let's continue. Not so warm after all. Only warm being off-road. Turning and turning. Maybe an elephant or two up here. Thank you to the viewers. Saying hi to Andrew and welcome to the crew. Andrew, I guess your face has just been on camera. So, thanks to those welcoming Andrew. I think we might get another new face today. Hey, Oriole. Somewhere there's an Oriole above us. Maybe they won't fly. Maybe they will. A lot of swallows collecting. I think they're getting ready for their return trip to Europe. Excuse me, doves. Oh gosh, cuckoos, 2 cuckoos that flushed out of a bush. They just go straight back into it. Birchall's cuckoo. Rainbird, yeah. We haven't done much of a job these last few weeks, but we are heading into full moon at the moment. Probably why we got this cloud cover. Maybe full moon will bring us a little bit of rain. Bit of a break way down in the south. There's a little bit of clearer sky. Maybe this is all going to move over by 10 o'clock. Squirrel, deathwish squirrel. This is the herd where those 3 little boy impala came from, I'm sure. There's been an elephant here during the night. And a lot of marulas judging. Well, he must have been shaking the tree. Look at that, the little nursery of impalas, the youngsters that playing king of the castle. Interesting, and a number of fairly large rams with this herd. Not quite sorting their hierarchy out just yet. There are some rams that are already starting to keep other rams away from their herd, but this is obviously a herd where the rams haven't started yet. Quite often we've spoken about the markings of animals and the very distinct markings, in particular with these impala. You can see the black stripes, but most importantly what you can see when they do swing their tail is that very distinct little bit of white that they show on either side of their tail. And this constant tail flicking that they're doing now is a very important, subtle message that makes its way through the herd to allow everybody to just carry on grazing, carry on feeding. No need to look around, there's no danger. There was a moment a few seconds ago when one startled a whole bunch of them, and the tail flicking stopped, and they all moved in unison, and as soon as they stopped and as soon as they realized that there was no danger, they all flicked their tails at exactly the same time, almost as a reassurance to everybody else that they got a fright but everything's okay. So this casual tail flicking that we see, and the amount of white that is shown against the background of black stripes, is a very calming signal. We call it flag signaling. If they were to show broader expanse of white and maybe not flick the tail as much, it turns to a danger signal. And any variation of emotions in between. The ears, of course, having black tips to the white, or the tan on the back of the ears, those black tips help other individuals identify where an individual is actually listening, not only looking, but the intensity at which it's listening, because hearing, of course, is a very important sense. And when something hears something, normally what will happen is it'll look up, and if it senses any danger, the tail will stop flicking, and other individuals around it will then look up themselves to see why the tail isn't flicking, why that message of calm isn't being transmitted. And then the next thing they'll look at is to see where the ears are pointed and to see where the face is pointed, and that's where all the other markings come in, helping to identify at a very quick glance where the direction of a potential threat is coming from. It's no use putting your head up and just swiveling it around if there is a potential threat from a specific direction, and it's those markings and the tail flicking that let them know these things. Clearly we pose no threat. They're quite relaxed around us. Look, there's a jumping spider catching a fly on my dashboard. There's a salticid spider stalking a fly. Come on, you got the pneumatic legs. Jump, spider, catch that fly. Catch it, catch it, catch it. Oh, you missed. Hello, you. Oh. The most wonderful spiders, jumpers. Here now. Oh, it's from the duct tape. It's the duct tape spider. Onward her. That's for the spotlight. Just a pretty shot, just impala all over this termite mound. And those little ones at the top, you can see one or two little boys up there. The little horn buds are starting to grow. The ones on the left with their heads down. Hoo-hoo. Morning, Jeffrey in Texas. Jeffrey wants to know why the males are called rams and not bucks. I think because we use buck as just a general term for antelope. Buck can be male or female. We tend to adopt the ram and ewe for the smaller antelope, and then the bull and cow for the larger antelope. And in deer you would use stag and doe, stag, doe and fawn. Here we use ram, ewe and lamb. And I think I missed the photo up there. It was quite a nice photo earlier. Those little ones. But I'm not sure, Jeffrey. I couldn't tell you why it's not a buck. Okay, let's find some other things. Bye, children. See you later. Find the cat. see you at all. The young kudu bull, not quite full grown yet. Quite large in size though. He's still got a bit of growing to do. I'm guessing that he's the youngest of the group of kudu bulls that we have. We've been seeing them quite a lot recently. Quite frequently actually. But it could also just be another kudu bull. Not seeing any of the others yet. Aha, there's an eagle. It looks like our friend the Wahlbergs. Not often you find it raising its crest like that, the Wahlbergs. Its posture is also showing that it's chasing something. Yeah, it just went for an oxpecker. Quite an aggressive posture that it had. Here it comes. A bit of a tail feather. Out of place. Interesting, it's come back to the same tree. I guess there have been some birds hassling it, and that's why it is in sort of a defensive mode. Seems to be a family of babblers in that tree as well. Babblers are going to hassle it now. I guess it could be that there's an oxpecker nest in there, just below the eagle now. There might be something. It was looking into a hole where some bark is peeling away. See if I can move something that's got that eagle's attention in that tree. wasn't only the oxpecker that was there earlier. But I'm thinking that it's trying to get at something. But I don't know if we're going to get to see it again. Or maybe we can if I can try and turn the car a little bit. My jumping spider is back on the dashboard too, but we won't worry about it right now. Now, Wahlbergs are mostly aerial hunters. They tend to take things on the wing. They're not very well equipped to be scrambling about in holes in trees. I don't think anything's going to happen. Eagle is looking into the center of that mass of branches. And the babblers aren't really worrying too much, but there's something that the eagle's trying to get at. Clearly, just by the fact that it's been hopping around from different branches. Last chance. Blown away. It has left. Given up. Interesting behavior though, from the point of view of seeing a Wahlberg hopping around a tree like that. A good chance that it chased something in there when it was hunting earlier, and seems to think that it could still try and get it out. But it's very difficult for an eagle, especially with an acacia like that with very small hooked thorns. An eagle can't afford to get its feathers too badly damaged. While new feathers will come out, it does affect the flight, it affects their ability to hunt. Steve, morning Steve, North Dakota. Nice to meet you, Steve. Something's defoliating marula trees. There's a caterpillar, probably in the hundreds. Seen it before. Feeding on the marula leaves and defoliating them. Steve was asking if the grasses and plants on the termite mound are indicative of the termitarium being inactive. Not necessarily, Steve. Some of the mounds that you still see the pinnacle and the top, they can be so old that the pinnacle has crumbled and fallen and created so much of a mound on either side that it becomes pretty well vegetated. The one way to tell whether a termite mound is active or not is to see whether or not they have holes in them. I suppose what we'll do is we'll have a look now. Any termite mound that we see. You see, the holes in a termite mound mean that heat is escaping, and heat, or rather thermoregulation and the maintenance of core temperature is very important. It's vital, in fact. It's crucial to the survival of a colony. So that a lot of holes within the pinnacle will tell you that nobody's home to fix the holes. But holes also mean that other things will get in, other things that are invariably going to eat termites. And so see redback shrikes are still here. I guess they'll be leaving in March. Most of the migrants will be here. Some that'll start moving now. Because some birds take a few months to get to the north. The storks, for example, I think take 3 months for them to make their way back up through Africa into Europe. Morning, Anne. Nice to have you on board with us. Anne was to try and do a comparison between a bald eagle and the Wahlberg's eagle. I think Wahlberg's probably half the size of a bald eagle. Wahlberg's is, although we can consider the Wahlberg's one of the true eagles, it is one of the smallest of the eagles. But what I'd need to know, which I don't know, is the sort of the size, what is the height and wingspan of a bald eagle. Let's compare it that way, and I'll find you the height and wingspan of a Wahlberg's. I'd say a Wahlberg's is probably about the same size as a red-tailed hawk, maybe a little bit bigger than a red-tail. In fact, that would be another nice comparison. And that one of our bigger eagles, I'd say even our fish eagle is likely to be a bit smaller than the bald eagle. So I'd say that maybe one of the larger eagles, like a tawny eagle maybe, is the size of a Wahlberg, or rather of a bald eagle. I didn't bring my books this morning for some reason. So I'll have to do that again this afternoon, and I hope you're going to be with us. Your morning, our afternoon drive. Not too sure where in the US Anne is from, or if this is Anne in Indiana. Okay, I copied that, Pete. Did you get that? There've been elephant here. Big yellow bull was here, but he's left. Gone back the other way. We might need to go up Zoe's road, I guess. I've been seeing a lot of elephant tracks. but they seem to be hiding today. Believe it or not, they can hide pretty well, as big as elephants are. Unless they paint their toenails red. We've just done a big figure 8 almost to see if there's anything in the proximity of this dam. I guess it's not really getting hot yet. Quite often by this time of the morning when it starts getting hot, the buffalo start making their way to the water. There are patches of blue, the sun will be coming through soon, and I've no doubt it'll get quite hot a bit later. But for the time being, nothing really is too concerned about either being at the water or drinking the water. I'll go further east again and see if anything's happening around Twin Dam. Maybe our leopard has gotten there by now. Thanks, Pete. Bumpy road. I'll get through this as soon as I Well, not even buffalo here. Twin dams, so the dams are not being utilized today. Huh? Maybe when it gets warmer. But I wanted to come back down onto Twin Dams Road because I might find that he came out onto this road. He might be in the drainage line. We're certainly going to have a look for him later. Been buffalo here. But not very recently. So 2 young kudu with 1 female, maybe there are more. There's a young bigger bull. Young bull. Nice little family here. 2 females, 2 young bulls and 1 bigger bull. Go away, fly. Come on. I'm having as much trouble as that young kudu bull with flies on my face. But I'd say about a 2-year-old, maybe. Still with the females. He'll be leaving them soon, I hope. Probably a wing that animals are staying in thickets, and even that wildebeest that were going towards some rather thick bush after they had their drink. Not very windy, but there is a bit of a breeze. Maybe enough to keep them in away from the open areas. What? My spider finally caught a fly and we missed it. The jumping spider. I wish I could see that. I suppose it's been persevering. It's got a good hunting ground here. It's been on and off the dashboard for the last hour or more. I don't know how close you get to it.
Yeah, decently close.
Yeah? I'll try and get one of these on one of my pages on Facebook. Some of them might, one or two of them might have come out. Most of them are blurred. I can't quite see. Focus is very difficult at that angle. Spider's actually dissolving the fly outside of the spider's body, so it can suck it up as a gel with the venom that the spider injects. It injects sort of enzymes that just break down the body of the fly. The spiders, of course, don't have a mouth that they're not able to chew things. They are able to dissolve them, and of course the venom of this little spider has no effect on us whatsoever, and all of the jumping spiders are quite harmless. I feel like I could get a side on. I'm going to get in your way now. Can't pass up this opportunity. Most exciting thing we've seen since hyena on a kudu kill. And a leopard. The focal distance, the focal point, or rather the depth of field, I suppose, with this kind of macro photography, there's only a fraction of a millimeter that is depth of field. Okay, let's go. Sounded like a cicada. but it probably flew. Cicada. Spider's finished its fly. The end of the wet season. Hello Doris, thanks for the question. A good question actually. Doris was asking about these spiders, do they make any kind of nest for their eggs? And the answer is yes, Doris, actually they do. There's so many different types of jumping spiders, but invariably what they will do is they'll either fold a leaf blade of a grass, or they'll fold a leaf on a tree. See if I can find some for you. Some of the larger jumping spiders make a little retreat where they can find a closed space where it's already semi-closed. Oh, that bird is gone now. There was a chagra sitting in the open. I wanted to catch a chagra. Of course, I see them all the time when I'm walking around, and now that I want to find you a jumping spider's nest, you have to find the right type of leaf or the right type of grass. Some of these longer grasses. But I'll keep it in mind. I'll keep it in mind if I see anything that I can catch out of the corner of my eye. Interesting bluebeam. But they are free-range hunting spiders. They are not web-spinning spiders, but they do produce silk. In fact, jumping spiders leave a strand of silk where they're constantly anchoring themselves to wherever they are, so that when they jump and they miss, they almost like swing on a bungee board. I'll see if I can find one and then try and find an old jumping spider nest, something to look for while I'm looking for leopards and elephants later. Which of course I hope you're going to join us for in about 7 hours time. No sign of our leopard coming out here, but We'll be looking again later this afternoon. We'll see if we can maybe find him or find his tracks. For now though, I want to thank you for staying up, or thank you for being with us on your Monday or your Sunday night. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed, and from all of us here at WildEarth, see you later everybody, love you lots. Goodbye.